If you like this video, hit that subscribe button. I put out new Storybook Brawl videos every single day at 9:30 p.m. EST, and turns out most of you guys aren't subscribed yet, so what are you waiting for? I'm a pretty small channel, so I do also pay a lot of attention to comments and likes, so let me know what type of content you guys want to see. Enjoy the video. What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we're going to be looking at a game pretty similar to yesterday's video. We're going to be starting off with dwarves here after we pick up this tiny, and then we're going to try to transition into something that can net us a first place finish so that we can win the lobby. And yesterday, I did all this stuff and set myself up well to transition out of dwarves, but just got handed to lordies. So it is good to still be flexible with that, but a lot of times, as you'll see in this game, dwarves gives you such a healthy early lead and puts you so far ahead of the rest of the lobby that you really have a lot of time to turn into dwarves, or rather turn into something else away from dwarves. And one of the main reasons that I've said to play dwarves right now is Fanny. I think that Fanny is one of the most powerful dwarven cards that you can get. It's definitely more powerful than Princess White. It used to be you'd take Fanny sometimes in the early game, and then you'd transition or you'd pick up the Princess White if you already had the Fanny, and then you would just be in a great spot. But now it is more like Fanny is your big payoff card. It's really good with Tweedledee. It's arguably, it's the same with Crafty, but now it turns Crafty into a 4/4, so you do have a slightly stronger early game as well. And we're going to cast 2 shrink spells in a row with Baby Bear, so we're going to be working with 7 units already. And that's just luck. That's nothing that I created here, but still pretty sweet to be able to pick up and play a full squad of 7. Fallen Angel can be pretty good, but I don't think Fallen Angel will have 7 units at this point, because we're Share Bear, and that's one of the benefits of Share Bear, is that you get to have a really strong early game, and then by playing dwarves, you get to have an even stronger early game. So I do think we should be winning a lot of our combats at this point. It would take a pretty strong squad to take us down. So this is going to give us another win, and we're going to deal a healthy amount of damage here too to the Fallen Angel. Hit them for 7 down to 27. Here is the interesting spot. I guess with 2 dwarves as well sitting in this lobby, might as well pick up the princess and then the lucky, and then just sell 2 things, buy the crafty and buy the spell. And I will be keeping the 3 blind mice here, seeing as there's no Pied Piper, there's no Wonder Waddle, and there's no Peter Pants. So there really is not going to be a huge competition for 3 blind mice. The main competition for them will be the Horde Dragon, but because we're Share Bear, we'll have a little bit extra economy to be able to look for 3 blind mice if that's what we decide we want to do. There's obviously the Dwarven Forge, which can be extremely powerful as a 4-cost treasure, but there is we don't have to go all in on it necessarily. And speaking of all in, my opponent Pup here is only running 2 units, so this will be an easy combat. We'll be able to take them out here, hit them for 6, and we're still a 40 health Share Bear, so that has got to feel pretty sweet. Pick up a baby root and roll, and like I said, I think we're really just looking for dwarves, 3 blind mice, XP. Though Golden Chicken is pretty good, and I could honestly see an argument for the prized pig just to help us generate more gold while we are crushing these lobbies. But we're going to roll past the prized piggy here, and probably roll past this selection as well. Nothing is too interesting. But you know what? The Wish Upon a Star is interesting.
if we get someone, like, we're pretty powerful this turn. We're going to fall off a little bit next turn, though, if we just spend 5 gold to get the Wish Upon a Star. Because we didn't do anything this turn. We bought 0 units to increase the power of our board. We bought a chicken, we took a free baby root, and then we rolled a bunch. So we really didn't do anything this turn, and for that reason, I don't just want to do nothing next turn as well. I do want to try to just keep getting a little bit more powerful, so that way we can potentially continue to do strong things in this lobby. And this is almost a tie, but my opponent's got 2 backline supports, so we are going to take 5 damage here. So I guess we are definitely not strong enough to just be wishing upon a star, but Fanny is sweet. That's going to add some power. If we could get 1 treasure, that honestly adds a lot of power to our board. We'll grab Baby Root here, and then I think I just go for this Genie's Wish. It seems decent, and we actually get an XP. So that kind of feels like cheating when you're Share Bear, and then you also Genie's Wish for XP, because you are just getting quite the discount, and you already have less. You've got more gold, rather, than everyone else. So this triply, or doubly, I don't know why I'm saying it's a triply, this doubly could be rather large, depending on how much support I want to put into it. And honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that I don't move it to slot 2. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. So now I've gotten 11-11, and now I feel strong. Now I feel like I could win a Wish Upon a Star. I believe Horde Dragon lost their last combat too, because I think they were sitting on the top of the lobby with us. So definitely feel like we are pretty powerful right now, and could have cast a Wish Upon a Star this turn. But of course, I'd rather spend 1 mana for an XP than 5 mana. So, or 5 coin, rather. Let's see, yeah, this 11-11 is going to soak up a bunch of stuff for this doubly, and then we're going to win and hit Horde Dragon for another 7. Then we see a copycat friendly spirit, and this is where you go, alright, I guess we're going to try to make some transitions happen this game. Now, awkwardly, I will have to sell 2 things to purchase both of these units, so there goes the 3 blind mice, the dream is dead, and we will roll, and then we'll get our first treasure here, which is a tiny. Don't really love any of these treasures. Monster Manual does work with the friendly spirit, though, so it's definitely worth considering, and I believe for that reason I am going to go for it. And so now I'm kind of like playing these dwarves, which are obviously very strong, and then still building into this other comp. And now I can play the crafty as well because we have a treasure. And we can even grab a second treasure here. I don't believe that we can sell to try to put this in, but we can lock it, buy the Fanny, and then if we get 1 more dwarf next turn, we actually get white as well. And white isn't super powerful, but you mostly just play it for a little bit of stats in the early game, plus a treasure, and then honestly, you usually just wind up selling it as soon as it becomes a bossy. It's really interesting, white in this capacity, because white was something that was in the end game comp for dwarves a lot of times, and bossy is something that never used to make the end game comp for dwarves, so definitely a little bit awkward. It's definitely not as powerful as it used to be, but it's still going to be something that allows dwarves to have a little bit of power in this early game, which is what you're asking for when you play dwarves. So we are going to buy Fanny now, and Fairy Tale plus Monster Manual does pretty well to set up the copycat strategy, so Fairy Tale seems like a fine as any treasure here. I think there could have definitely been an argument for just not taking anything, because we are going to have the treasure from white soon. We might just want to skip and find some more powerful treasures, but pick up this Tweedledee, flip white over, and then I actually don't like any of these treasures. Eye of Ares is fine with Tweedle, but I think we can just do more powerful things if we just keep, if we just skip this here. So we are going to skip that treasure and then pick up Crafty, And now we can pick up our third level 2 treasure without seeing a Ring of Meteors. And Ring of Meteors is the one way in the early game where you might start to say we might be looking to play dwarves in the long term, because Ring of Meteors just winds up being so strong with Angry and with Greedy that really provide incentives to stay the course as far as dwarves are concerned. So this is the new Tweedledee there, 1419, pretty strong, looking good. Their reduplicator gets them an extra 7/6. But we are still definitely looking more powerful. This helps them a little bit, and they do have a ranged unit. But ultimately, we've just got a huge crafty as long as we can kill their Stormweaver or Spellweaver, and we will be able to eventually. So we'll hit them for 7 down to 10. But honestly, a pretty close fight for how much better we were than them. And then this is where you really have decisions to make. I think we're definitely going to pick up the Lucky here, but the question is, do we waste 5 gold to pick up the Angry? And I don't think so. I think we're set up decently well to transition with the bonus XP and the treasures that work really well for Copycat and Good Boy. And for that reason, I think I just want to roll. Awkwardly, I just picked up a Fool's Gold, so now I can't find XP. So I made that a little bit awkward for myself. I maybe should have reconsidered doing that exactly. Now we're basically just rolling for Friendly Spirits and Copycats. I will pick up a Tweedledee, though. Another one of those is pretty good, just to make ourselves a little bit stronger on the board and potentially find a different 4-cost treasure and maybe toss this Fool's Gold or toss, I don't know, could still toss the Fairy Tale at this point, or the Monster Manual even, if we decide that we've gotten enough out of the Friendly Spirit at some point. Attack isn't super helpful. You really want some health on that guy. Making some rather large Tweedledees, though, against the Geppetto. Feeling pretty strong right now for this lobby. 35 health as well. So looking pretty good. And my opponent's going to be making a bunch of tokens. We're going to lose Princess White, unfortunately, before we summon the Tweedledum. But I think we should be good. I mean, they're going to make a bunch of what? These are 7/7s. I was thinking they were 8/8s. But yeah, just 7/7s here. And we definitely have enough stats to get through those. And then we hit Geppetto for 11. And Geppetto was second place in the lobby. So gotta feel pretty good after something like that. We can pick up the Nutcracker here, probably just to remove the Nutcracker from the pool. And then we see another Angry, which I've decided, and we see another Angry, and we see 2 more Angries, which I've decided to move past. Unless, of course, we get the Dwarven Forge here. But we're not going to get the Dwarven Forge. We're going to get the Coin of Sharon, which is really good if this is the route that we want to go. I really do debate just dropping the Fool's Gold because that way I could get XP or something, but now the XP is like basically gone. So I'm just going to put Friendly Spirit in the first position. That's going to allow me to grow the Friendly Spirit more so than the Monster Manual. We can grow its health because it's got enough attack. And then I'm just going to sell the Nutcracker just to buy something else and get one little shop reroll. The fact that when we sell the Nutcracker, it means we're never going to get it again. But honestly, that's probably a good thing because now we took it out of the pool. It'll be easier to find those good boys. That's what we're looking for in a moment here. So we just have to deal with this Court Wizard, and the rest of this combat is pretty easy peasy. Hit them for 15, and... Oh, sorry, just lost my camera. That should bring it back. Great. Okay. But yeah, that's like the benefit of dwarves. We connect on the Nyan Sea Terror here, and then I have to pick up Midas Touch That is just too good. And I'm going to toss the Fairy Tale. I think that Midas Touch plus Fool's Gold is kind of a combo. It's going to allow me to just a little bit more easily roll for Good Boy next turn. But it is awkward because now there's absolutely nothing that I'm doing right now unless I find a copycat, because I would love to Midas Touch a Good Boy. I don't want to spend it on a Friendly Spirit, but I think that I would be willing to spend it on a copycat. I do think that that would be just worth it in terms of my investment. Definitely don't want to start picking up more Nyan Sea Terrors, and I don't really want to waste my time with Angry, but then I find a copycat just in time, so I can sell, probably should have sold my Goat there instead, but I can sell a unit, pick up the copycat. Like, maybe I want to play this copycat in some capacity. It's pretty good, but a little bit awkward because this board is so crowded. Just playing around, looking at some different possibilities here. I just want to play for strongest board. The thing is, I want to keep, or not strongest board necessarily. I want to really keep growing my, whatever that thing was called, Friendly Spirit. And you can see the Friendly Spirit, just growing that with the Coin of Sharon does actually lead to a pretty strong board as well. And we are able to take out Pup, unfortunately for them. They had a lot of the same stuff going on, though, so that is even better for us. Free Cinderella will clear another questing unit from the shop. Could grab the Hercules as well, grab another questing unit, clear another questing unit from the shop. Apologies for my camera issues right now. I'll just jiggle the cord after I'm done recording this video. But we roll a little bit more and then we find a Good Boy. So there you go. That's a transition. If we had found like a Lordy somehow before we found the Good Boy and we still had the Hand of Midas, like maybe there's an argument for doing something else, but I think that this was just quite clearly this was just quite clearly a transition game. Oh, I'm actually going to pick up the Bear Stain here, and it looks like I oversold by the tiniest bit. What do I think I can get? Oh, I'm going for the Cupid. Okay. So we're just going full transition here. And I guess the Hercules isn't good because I'm still trying to grow the Good Boy right now. We're gonna totally unplug and replug the camera. Apologies. But the Good Boy is going to get the buff from the Coin of Sharon, so that's going to add a bunch of stats to that. And we're going to try to keep the Good Boy in the front position for as long as we possibly can. That does mean that we are going to wind up losing this combat and taking 14, but part of the reasons that I feel so comfortable trying to transition here and trying to pump more stats into the Good Boy, I think we're going to do it again this turn, but the main reasons that I feel comfortable doing so is because we have so much of a life total kind of barrier to help us before we just die. And then we roll into a shop that is a bunch more copycats. So this is really silly. I was planning on just playing copycats for a few turns more, but now if I sell this Cupid, I can just buy 2 copycats right here, get ourselves another tier 4 treasure, probably 6 of shields, just a little bit more stats for the current board. That seems fine. And then let's frontline the Bearstein. I'm going to unlock this shop, and we're going to play 5 units right now, and we're gonna hope that that's good enough. So there we go. I'm going to make it so that actually, do I like this? I think I like the first way better. Yeah, I'm going to switch this back. This way, if either one of my copycats gets attacked, I still have somewhat of a chance to win this brawl. The Good Boy's going to get +8, +11, so that's 1622, and then that'll double to 3244. And that is like decently tall. There will be a Friendly Spirit trigger in there potentially as well. But let's see. So they are still on dwarves as the Sphinx, And we are actually going to keep the copycat because they're dwarves. So this is great. This should remove them from the game because we only need one of our units to stay alive to kill my opponent. So this will definitely end them. You can see the friendly spirit is no longer dying at this point. So yeah, definitely a decent treasure to get rid of. And now we've got, so we're Sharebear, we've got 17 gold now with which to find more good units to fill our squad. It's so awkward as Sharebear that we played a full squad of units on like turn 3, but then when we're level 6, we only had enough gold to play 5 units, so pretty funny. I don't think we're going to want to play another copycat until we find another good boy, but let's take another friendly spirit here. And hidden cache is interesting because good boy will survive a decent portion of the time. Moonsung Horn will just give good boy +1/+1. Yeah, that can honestly go either way, but I do want to drop the Fool's Gold at this point because I do want to potentially hit some spells. There's some really good ones we could find. Luna's Grace is not a good one, but it is a spell, so we'll go ahead and cast that here. And then I think I like Sleeping Princess. Basically, we can sell the chicken to pick up the Sleeping Princess, and the main reason that I like that is because then we can lock this Lancelot here too, and I think that this winds up being a decent lock for us because that will give us a tier 5 treasure for free that we can make as long as one of our copycats attacks. The good boy will trigger and make Lancelot pretty big. So here comes the copycats. These are even bigger this turn thanks to the Luna's Grace. And then the second copycat gets in, and yeah, now everything's huge. And the friendly spirits are going to pump on itself, so that friendly spirit is definitely not dying. And yeah, we've just got a bunch of stats around the board. So this should be a win against Geppetto. This friendly spirit is not going to die, and that's going to hit for 9, even if they could somehow manage to kill everything else. But I don't even think they're going to be able to do that. So I think that we've transitioned pretty well. It looks like Muerte is about to die as well based off that emote they just gave. So we are really just up against Jack's Giant. And honestly, we might not even need this treasure from Lancelot, but we'll be able to play 7 units on our next combat, which we have not done up until this point. So yeah, Lancelot, not even going to bother with this treasure. And you know what? Bearstain is bigger than the Sleeping Princess. And then I think I just cast Shrivel. I think Shrivel's just like a fine spell to cast here. I could even see moving Bearstain to the back, but it doesn't really matter. I think that this is a good way to set it up because even if I lose this combat right now, which I don't think I'm going to, but even if I manage to lose this combat, we'll get a tier 5 treasure. And that should be good enough for us. We could throw away the Coin of Sharon. So I think I do move Lance to the front, and then I believe I move it back to the back line in the last second. Yeah, because I'd rather play the board that guarantees us the tier 5 treasure because I don't see actually dying this combat. Though, I don't know, things could always go bad. We could always get scammed in some capacity. But it looks like they're not going to have too much against us. Really just this Medusa, which is going to trade with our statue because of all of our treasures. Actually, it doesn't even trade. It sticks around, and then the statue becomes huge, and the statue is going to kill a Storm King. So we are actually pretty insanely huge. Don't see us losing this one. And, well, yeah, we didn't lose this one. We won this one. And we were able to transition quite well out of dwarves and into something else. And that is definitely the luxury that Sharebear affords you. I think that this is generally a pretty solid strategy to run with Sharebear because you do get all of that extra gold in the early game and you want to put it to good use. So just playing the strongest board for as long as you can is really good. And then kind of see where the treasures bring you. But I do think in general, just like dwarves from Sharebear, and then see where the treasures bring you, see if you can force, you know, Copy Boy or some other broken endgame strategies, and then use your health lead, your XP lead, and your gold lead to transition into something else. And this was pretty quick. Like, the lobby was dead pretty quickly after we transitioned, but we were also able to transition so quickly because we had so much gold from ShareBear. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.